we have a couple of presentations. The first one is a presentation I would like to present to some very dear friends of ours over the last 18 months and before. The Bay Area Chapter Volunteers of the American Red Cross recognizing American Red Cross Month 2012. Most of these we sort of go over lightly, but I'm going to read all of this because it's very important to us. Declaring March as American Red Cross Month, whereas the American Red Cross has touched many lives in San Bruno, as well as across the country and around the world, and whereas during American Red Cross Month, we thank those who contribute to the mission of the Red Cross, whether through time, money, or blood, and we invite others to support the Red Cross in helping people in need. And whereas the American Red Cross is synonymous with helping people and has been doing so for more than 130 years. Throughout the past year, the American Red Cross launched hundreds of disaster relief operations in the United States to help people affected by fires, floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes. The American Red Cross has also supported major international disasters, including the Japan earthquake and tsunami response, while continuing its work on the 2010 Haiti earthquake response and recovery. And whereas in San Bruno, the American Red Cross Bay Area chapter works tirelessly through its nearly 1,000 volunteers to support us when disaster strikes, when someone needs life-saving blood, or the comfort of a helping hand. It provides 24-hour support to members of the military, veterans, and their families, and provides training in CPR, aquatic safety, and first aid. And whereas the American Red Cross Bay Area chapter helped over 1,405 people with temporary housing, clothing, food, and mental health counseling during 392 local disasters last year alone, trained over 117,345 people in life-saving CPR, first aid, and water safety, and over 173,555 individuals received preparedness training, provided emergency communications, counseling, financial assistance, and a caring presence to over 1,810 local military families, and supported 31 Bay Area hospitals, providing them with nearly 150,000 units of red cells, platelets, and plasma to patients in need. And now, therefore, I, Jim Ruane, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, do hereby proclaim March 2012 as American Red Cross Month, and I encourage all Americans to support this organization in its noble humanitarian mission. And I'd like to present this. Thank you.
I think I'll wait until it gets back to the front there. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Amy Lang. I'm chair of the San Mateo County Leadership Council here in the Bay Area chapter. I'm here today actually with a few other volunteers and staff from the Red Cross. And I wanted to say on behalf of the Red Cross and the volunteers and the staff, thank you very much, Honorable Mayor Ruane and fellow council members. When we talk about all the disaster relief efforts and responding, I wanted to actually also talk a little bit about the preparedness efforts that we are involved in. There's some events coming up that I wanted to make sure you folks were aware of. We have what we're calling Save a Life Saturday coming up on Saturday, April 14th. So this is formally known as CPR Saturday. It's taking place at the Martin Luther King Jr. Center in San Mateo, as well as East Palo Alto Boys and Girls Club. And next week, we're actually having a Train the Trainer session for Save a Life Saturday on March 21st. So if you're interested in any of those, please go to redcrossbayarea.org and sign up or to just get more information. A little further down the road, we have the Heroes Breakfast for 2012. That's taking place on Thursday, September 13th. You'll be getting invitations later on this summer. We're looking right now for for nominations. So they come in the following categories: life-saving, act of courage, act of kindness and philanthropy, community service, both individual and organization, and animal rescue. So if you know of anyone, please, again, go to our website and submit a nomination. And that's it. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Okay.
Many of us take for granted what the Red Cross is. Every time we watch the news and things, we see that the Red Cross is always there. And on September 9th, we welcomed you into San Bruno, and we've been partners ever since. So as a committed volunteer myself, I am very impressed with the Red Cross and proud to work side by side with you. And thank you for all your efforts here in San Bruno and around the country. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to also echo that. You haven't done just your job in San Bruno, but you've been dear friends to us, especially with the Resource and Recovery Center, which has really helped a lot of the victims of the explosion and fire recover, not just physically, but psychologically as well. So thank you very, very much. Let's see. We do have one more presentation, and that's a presentation from Alan Johansson, Regional Construction Manager, and Nicole Zyman, I believe. Hopefully I said that correctly. Peninsula Region Public Outreach Consultant on the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission Harry Tracy Water Treatment Plant Improvement Project.
Good evening, Mayor Ruane and Commissioners. I'm Maureen Berry, and I oversee the communications for the Water System Improvement Program. We're here this evening to talk to you about our projects, particularly the Harry Tracy Water Treatment Plant that is here in your community. I know your time is also very valuable, and you have a very hectic schedule, so we will be as concise but hopefully as thorough as possible. And Alan Johansson is our Regional Construction Manager, and he'll be following me, making the presentation about the project construction. Also, we have Calvin Huey, who is our Project Manager. He's here if you have further questions, and both of them are San Mateo County residents. So, as you are well aware, our Hetch Hetchy water system flows across the state 167 miles by gravity from the Sierra to through various pipes and tunnels. And we are working, of course, here in this circular area. We have numerous projects on the peninsula, which Alan oversees. And there's a number that are either adjacent or in San Bruno, particularly the plant, what we're doing with the reservoir, and we do have a pipeline job that we're doing that is coming through San Bruno also. I wanted to just explain that this is part of the larger water system improvement program that started in the early 2000s. The reason we're doing it, of course, is to make sure you do have water after an earthquake, that you have, all our customers have greater reliability, that we can continue to provide you the highest quality drinking water, and that, again, you either have water after a catastrophic event or in drought conditions. I might add that the cost of this program is being paid by all users of the Hetch Hetchy water system in proportion to the amount of water they receive from the system. Harry Tracy Water Treatment Plant. Why are we doing this? As I said, 2002, not only the SFPUC, but our wholesalers decided, we really needed to address our aging infrastructure. Basically, much of it had really outlived its useful life. Secondly, this project and others, or other projects across the bay, are near three and cross three major faults, earthquake faults. And so there was a real need to reinforce our projects, and that's one of the things that we're doing here. In essence, we are in a race against time to make sure that we do these projects, that they're completed before the next earthquake hits. Before Alan talks to you about the actual construction, I just wanted to summarize some of the things that we have done with public outreach. Throughout this project, and it really began in 2008 when we were doing the environmental review, we had meetings with the community. We followed up with mailers. We have our own blogs on these projects, as well as individual contact with a lot of people. In early March 2011, we actually had the first meeting with the community about this project now that it had been awarded. And We have since then had follow up with various people. We have talked with, of course, the apartment residents and manager up the hill, the swim club, schools, and other individuals. And we've hosted an open house, and we will do so again in April. April 23rd, we're planning another open house here in San Bruno. Here is a list of some of the ways that we stay connected, and at the end of Alan's presentation, we'll actually again have our 24-hour phone line and our blog and our email addresses so that people can get a hold of us. Here there is actually two. We work with peninsula.org, and then we also work with our CSPL2, which is the pipeline. So some people know us under one name or the other, depending if they're signed up to get RSS feeds, or whenever we update it, they get a notice. So before I turn this over to Alan, if you have any questions about the outreach or in general, I'd be happy to take those.
Any questions at this time? No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Good evening, Mayor Ruane and council members. My name's Alan Johansson. Let's see, for the project overview, basically we're seismically upgrading and hydraulically improving the plant. We're touching every part of the plant. The most important part is we're adding a new 11 million gallon treated water reservoir, and we're doing improvements to the electrical valve and pipeline system. Right now, our three main focuses are the 11 million gallon wash water tank, or treated water tank rather, and the demolition of the existing SED basins, and the remodel of the existing operations facility. We had notice to proceed on March 2011. Substantial completion is expected in December 2014, with final completion February 2015. The contractor Kiewit began excavation on the treated water reservoir in August 2011. Their off-haul of the soils began in October 2011, and that will continue for a couple more months, we figure, till May 2012. At that point, they're going to bring in import material, better material to rest the tank on, and that'll run from about April 2012 to June 2012. Following that, the other activity on the treated water reservoir that will impact the motorist on the road would be, or not so much the motorist on the road, excuse me, would be pile driving. We're going to have pile driving activities that are going to go from May 2012 for almost a month, and then during the fall of 2012. Returning to the road impacts, actually, pouring concrete for this large tank will start in March 2013 and continue till mid-year 2014. All right. Throughout our whole program, there's a focus on environmental protection. We have Kiewit has a full-time compliance officer that's on site, and we have our own monitor twice a week. And there's a regional monitor employed by the PUC to oversee all the projects. Part of what they do, there's weekly noise and vibration monitoring, and at the property lines across from Crystal Springs Road. All the findings to date are within the legal limits. For soil removal and dust control, all soil is tested and sampled by certified technicians and sent to a lab. The soil remains on site until we get results back from the lab, and then if it's clean, the landfills are identified and it's trucked and hauled to the sites. If there's any hazmat, then it's protected and sent to other landfills. Trucks are covered and inspected prior to removal, and there's a wheel washing station right by the exit to the plant onto Crystal Springs. Some of the hazmat sources we have in the soil, there's natural occurring metals and natural occurring asbestos. And then there's also, in the buildings themselves, there's components of the building, from years past that have hazmat. They're removed by qualified personnel. So far, we've had 13 truckloads hauled to landfills, and all that material has come from the structures themselves. For road safety, the safety precautions we've enacted is the traffic control signs and flaggers. There's a pilot vehicle in front of all the large trucks. You can see that that's the small pickup there. And the pilot vehicles ensure the trucks maintain the speed limit. There's a street sweeper that continues to sweep the street during the day. We estimate, I think it's running now about 50 to 100 round trips a day on the off-haul. When back in September, we had a consultant do a road assessment survey, and the report we've made that available to the city of San Bruno. We're making a commitment to restore the road to pre-construction condition at the completion of the project, and we will coordinate with the city of San Bruno to maintain roadway condition during the project. Any questions?
For the concrete, is it going to be in trucks, or are you having a batch plant within the site, or what are you going to do?
It'll be all in trucks.
Okay. But you have made accommodations to repair the streets based on where they were before you started?
That's correct.
Okay.
The PUC makes that commitment.
All right. Okay.
If I could ask, I guess in the simplest terms, what does an 11 million gallon holding tank look like? I mean, what is the size of this? And I mean, is it an expansion of an existing tank? And you know, when you've only exported a few truckloads of material, how do you? I mean, I'm not picturing this, this facility.
We had the truckloads were that was the hazmat, and that's all. In terms of soil, we've removed 200,000 tons of soil so far. The size of the tank, Calvin, is 40 feet tall, and what did you say, 240 feet in diameter? So currently there are two existing tanks. There's one tank and one square reservoir. There's a 6.5 million gallon and an 8 million gallon. In a seismic event, there's concerns that a 7.9 earthquake, they would rupture and go down the hillside. So that's why we're improving the current system. We're putting in the new tank, driving all the piles. I think there's over 800 piles to nail it down into the rock.
Yeah. Well, I just want to express that, in this community, you're just a driveway and a sign. So majority of the community doesn't know how big a facility is at the plant. But we do have been hearing, getting complaints about, trucks coming out onto Crystal Springs Road on a windy road and a steep road and a narrow road. And so, it's a little surprising to have sometimes, certain truck drivers that will, come around the turn a little faster than what our residents are expecting.
Understand. And we've reinforced with our contractor, and we're making sure the pilot vehicles maintain the speeds to keep the trucks down below 25.
Okay. So the water is gravity fed to Crystal Springs and then to Harry Tracy for treatment?
Let's see, the water comes from San Andreas Reservoir. Mm-hmm. There's two adits from the lake that pipe into the reservoir, into the Harry Tracy, and then there's a lower pump station that pumps it up the hill, and it's treated from there. And then once it's treated, gravity fed.
Okay, and treated with, you have any toxics, chloramine or? There's
chloramination up there. There's fluoride's no longer, is there fluoride still there? There's fluoride. There's an ozone process that they use to handle cryptosporidium. Let's see, what else do they have up there? There's ferric chloride. So there's, typical chemicals they use for treatment.
Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of work going on in the reservoirs themselves. Is that part of this project also?
That's part of the larger program. That's part of the CSSA project, Crystal Springs San Andreas Transmission. And basically what they're doing is, since the fault runs right close to the adits, they're reinforcing the adits, working with the Division of Safety of Dams to make sure that they stay functional after an earthquake.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do.
Irene?
Okay. Could you tell us about the pile driving? How long, what hours of operation, what can our residents expect, that kind of thing?
We have already driven 80 piles. There were test piles last summer. At that time, we did not get any complaints. The hours of operation are 9 to 4 and not on the weekends.
Okay, that's reasonable. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think you already addressed in the prior presentation as far as the outreach. As the Vice Mayor mentioned, I've had some calls and emails, and I think it's the unknown. Very well put that it's a driveway and a sign. What goes on the other side, what's really happening, a person to be contacted that they can get a live person and have those basic questions asked, because it is, you know, they haven't seen or heard it, and now all of a sudden a lot is going on, more than they've ever could imagine. And I think that's one of the things that are most important to this community, is just having somebody to be able to pick up the phone, ask the question, be reassured, understand what's happening in the hours, like Irene asked, and I think that's one of the most important things. So the outreach is critical, and good information, contact, and just advance notice would be helpful.
Good, and it's important to keep our staff, you know, informed of what's going on, because when people ask us, we're going to ask them, and it's easy if they have updates, you know, very frequently.
Sure.
I appreciate
We'll make
that.
sure we do that.
Good. Anything else?
Oh,
Irene?
yeah, thank you. Am I understanding correctly there's going to be an open house on April 23rd?
Right. The microphone.
That is the proposed date, and so far it's a go, unless something would come up and we can't use that facility. And I think, Tina, Nicole is, I believe, coordinating with you on that, and that's when we're thinking. So we'll have something out definitely before the end of the month, so people have plenty notice on that. We'll also have some signs nearby.
Okay, so anyone's welcome to go.
Absolutely.
Look at it. Okay,
Absolutely.
and I urge everyone to. I've seen it a couple times, and it's really a very interesting facility. Also, could we make sure it's on cable, and on our website, so that people can see it advertised as well?
Okay.
So, okay. Thank you.
I think the open house Maureen was talking about is going to be off-site, so we're not going to have a tour.
Oh.
But I talked to Clara, we are offering for the council members and the mayor and senior staff to take a tour on one of the Saturdays.
Okay, then I'm sorry, what's the open house for, and where is it going to be?
I believe it's at the senior center here, isn't that correct? Yes, and what we're doing is we're allowing people to come, ask questions, and talk to people that are actually working on the project. And we'll have information about where we are to date, what they can expect going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more of an information of the construction rather than how the plant works.
Right. However, you know what we have done in other occasions, it might be something that we could do is actually videotape your tour. You know, you may have questions, we wouldn't get all of those on, but we could probably take that, edit it, and we could show it to you. And then perhaps if you think it's worthwhile, we could also include that on your cable TV, so people can see, you know, what we do there and how we assure the highest quality water.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
we'll work with you on that.
I'd like to add a lot of visuals. Yeah.
Okay.
Because according to your presentation, you're going to be pumping concrete for a year. So I think they deserve to know where all this concrete's going.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.